Hey, it's you and me.
Are you ready for this, Jade?
No, but when will I ever be?
No, never, never.
Mm-mm. Several days had passed since the package arrived. The end of my third week living in the mansion was drawing nearer. Michel wasn't getting any friendlier either. He continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I didn't understand why he acted that way around me. But there was little point in asking when he seemed to think there was little point in talking to me at all.
I just feel like there is going to be a lot of misunderstandings between these two because they are not talking and stuff and communicating in a healthy way.
Oh, obviously.
And is bringing me back to Yokopo a little bit.
Yeah, but there's a difference. They were a couple.
Yeah.
These are strangers.
I mean, yeah. So, like, they have every reason to not be talking to one another. I just have a bad feeling that something really bad is going to happen because of this.
Although at first I had been sure there was some way to get him to warm up to me, the more time I spent in the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel like it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. The one pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. Blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, vainly illuminating some of the room. I hadn't noticed until now, but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after a chapel.
You didn't notice that? I'm sorry, there's a stained glass window, like...
And pews everywhere?
Yeah.
Rows of pews faced the window, below which sat what used to be a pupil, a pulpit. There was very little left of it, though, and an awkward length of silver was mounted to the pulpit's front face. What was, I assumed, formerly a cross. Upon further reflection, rather than facing the window, the pews seemed to be pointed at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging on it. I wasn't sure why there would be a chapel in a mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seems more appropriate. It's a very well-made chapel, at any rate. I doubted Michel had had it built for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case. Nor had I ever seen him come to pray. He doesn't seem like one to believe in God. God. I'm not even sure if God really existed, then surely the world would be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power. No senseless misfortune. I certainly wouldn't have found myself here either. But God was inevitably quite fond of giving mankind trials, so he would probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him, and he didn't actually give us anything. He merely sat back and watched from somewhere far, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world or ensure our laws were fair. That was all mankind's responsibility. What is God? What are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Why should I pray to someone so far away? How do I know my prayer is even getting there? But still, it's not like I have any other options.
Oh.
Don't you worry. It'll all work out, I promise. I already know where I'm going to work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out of reach of some small-time merchants like us. You never know. This could be my big break. I'm just kidding. Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I'll make enough money for us to get back onto our feet. Oh, for goodness sake, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. You just wait. I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah, say bye to Mom for me. I probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm going to make some careless mistake? I'm not that airheaded. I could be a refined, elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. If you don't believe me, how about I give you a little taste? How are you doing this fine morning, master? Your morning beverage is ready, prepared with the utmost of care. See, how about that? Not bad, huh? What? You really think it sounded forced? I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop on the capital's main street. My father had passed away in a plague, so it was just me, my mother, and my older sister.
Wow, an older sister. That's interesting how she got a better job than her older sister. Or supposedly better job.
Well, I don't... It would be a lie to say business was doing well. We struggled to squeak by day to day after taxes, but we couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. So we tried to make the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. What? Then, my sister fell in love with a moderately well-off aristocrat. Both my mom and I were supportive of her in her desire to marry. But their union fell apart because she was not suitable for him.
Oh boy.
Then why were they together in the first place?
I know. Why'd they get married?
Merchants are hardly the lowest class.
You would think they would get rejected before the marriage.
Yeah,
I
don't know what happened there.
Okay.
What we lacked instead was wealth. We needed another source of money, beyond what the shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could get married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Bollinger estate approached me. He said they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. He said that if I agreed to work for them, the Bollinger estate would take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from other lower-ranked noble houses. It was unthinkable of someone of my status to receive such an offer.
That's when you should have ran.
They needed the money.
I know.
So I took it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just pray that nothing bad happens to my sister, and that Mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. That's all I can do.
Don't tell me she's here to pay off her family. Oh.
Remember, she got sent away because she wasn't doing a good job or something like that?
Well, that's what she said, but, maybe she made a secret deal to, be here and then they'd get paid off because she just said she hopes she's living comfortably, which means she's getting something even though she's here.
She's still working.
Yeah.
Their nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. The light shining through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading into blackness. It felt like a message from on high that no, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish-white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as clouds blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this.
Don't tell me one of the nobles in that household laid his hands on her.
I'll kill him.
Yep.
Straight up. Their nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this.
Giselle was sitting at one of the pews in the room with the stained glass window. Just looking at her, You might have thought she was offering a prayer, but the words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They were filled with resentment. They have plenty of money, a sullied woman. And then, I never asked to end up like this. So this is what's beneath that facade. Most likely, money's what she's after. All I need to do now is confirm my suspicions with them. Just what awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting in the pew with her head dropped, a cursory glance before leaving the chapel. I had nowhere else to be. Oh, we're going outside. Okay. The bitterly cold outside air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It had been so long since I stepped out beyond the mansion's walls. A thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It had been 10 years since I had seen the mansion from the outside, and it hadn't changed one bit. A gloomy scar upon the earth shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nevertheless, it was better than that house.
Yes? Who is it?
Michel.
What? Michelle? Bollinger? Just one moment. I'll be right there. Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home. I don't know who this is.
I don't know either. It was a man, not a woman. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter now.
It could go both ways.
Yeah.
Wow, I must say, this is rather unexpected. Just one word and I would have been up there in a heartbeat.
And how was I supposed to do that? I am regrettably fresh out of carrier pigeons.
Right, yes. My apologies.
This man living in a small cottage not far from the mansion had been hired from the Bollinger family. His job, to watch over me. That said, we never actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive and whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which then he passed on to me. It was insipidly convoluted, but it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me.
Well then, what can I do for you?
The man's servant was visibly rattled. Afraid, too. But not because of the difference in our social ranks. I had a pretty good idea what he had been told about me. He was afraid of me. Or more specifically, my curse. People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses, anything impure or not of this world. But I had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me, it didn't disappoint me, it didn't pain me. Some things were too foolish to concern yourself over. Though it certainly doesn't make me feel good either. I was, on some level, annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples at my once tranquil life. So before I got to the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head. There's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite.
Oh, how rude of me. You're right. My sincerest apologies.
Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what will you do if I try to run? I would have little trouble escaping.
That would be quite unfortunate. What would I ever tell your mother?
I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid for so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life.
Surely your mother would not.
You are aware of who you're dealing with, right? Michel, the cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family, who made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything.
Oh, sorry. Have mercy, Lord Michel. Please do not leave the mansion. Please spare me.
Only joking.
What?
I don't have the power to kill by way of curse, okay. I don't have the power to kill by way of curse. The man fell silent, but the look on his face said, "You are cursed, though, aren't you?" Once someone's got an idea planted in their head, it's nigh impossible to get rid of it. I am so cursed that anyone can see it. That I need to be locked away in a dark mansion. I am here because I had a question for you, not to warn you that I plan to run away.
A question? For me?
Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her.
I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else.
I believe you. I never thought they would tell you anything.
Right.
He had been hired to observe me, but that's all he was, a hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Bollinger family's internal affairs. Take this.
A letter?
I need you to deliver it to my mother.
You could have just left it in the box from this month's package, and I would have collected it when I dropped off the next one.
I am in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me?
Yes, why yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning.
Much appreciated. Good night.
You too. Do take care. Mischievous young man.
Mm-hmm. He sure likes teasing the poor man.
Lord Michel.
Yes?
Is it true that you don't have?
Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again?
No, not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michel. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night.
Ah, cursed I most certainly am. My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the wall between us impossibly high, when I lay bare, the scars in her chest, and mercilessly plunged my knife.
My knife. Sorry.
Plunged my knife into them. Okay, a little bit of an aggressive Michel we got going on here. I missed the first Michel, but he was a lie, so good to know.
He needs a timeout. How did we get to this point? Ugh, I hate everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into a deep morass. I had been at the mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as it should have. I had been optimistic at first. I'd even had a little hope that me and Michel could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the cheer locked away inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like I was deep underwater and running out of air. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. I started despising others, despising myself, despising the world, convinced there was no one who could set me free. I considered running away from everything rather than live like this another day. But I would have done so long ago if that were actually an option. If they found out I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I had given them happiness. I couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had done to go through to do it.
What did she do?
Come here. No. Cut that out. Getting way too depressing, Giselle. Pull yourself together. That's not who you are. Be positive. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Michel, either. No, there seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that twisted people's hearts. The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent here. People claimed it was cursed, and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michel joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all, but being here so long, I can't help but to wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this. If I was to remain in this house, the situation had needed to improve, a lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once, but I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I can get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything. Just repair our relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. I've got my work cut out for me. How did I even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation even going to be about? Maybe I should hold off, do it another day. No, I've made up my mind to do this, so I should get to it quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are going to get. And eventually, there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds, and we need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay, let's do this. I made my way to Michel's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least, I did my best to keep my semblance of a smile on my face. This is one time where I'd really like to have someone give me a little nudge.
Okay, I'll nudge you.
Thank you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master? There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? I guess he's not here. The door wasn't locked. As was the rest of the house, his room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master? Are you there? Master? I guess I missed him. It's probably best if I don't stick around for long. He's already got a less than stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what will happen if he thinks I've been snooping through his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels, taking a step toward the door.
Uh-oh.
When I caught sight of an object draped in a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by that object.
She's dead.
Something he kept hidden in a room I was forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue. What? Maybe it was a clue to discovering Michel's secrets. I reached my hand down toward the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he hid behind? Or was it the whispers of a witch? This is new territory?
Yeah.
This is new territory.
What? I'm so scared. Does she have like a leash on her?
I thought it was a scarf.
Ah.
Well, who knows? It could be anything. It could be that collar trap from Saw.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
I'm scared because the music really picked up too.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, sorry.
No,
No.
you're good.
No hints. Okay. I don't think the witch is talking to us anymore. I think we finished.
Oh, my memory's shot. I pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noblewoman with porcelain white skin.
Elle? Is that silver hair?
Yes.
It is?
That's what I thought.
Elle?
I thought it was like Mama-chan at first, but...
Oh, no.
Did I read that?
Did you?
I don't... Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What stood out about her, though, was that the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. And then...
Oh, she's dead. Oh, it's ripped?
What? It's the red eyes, dude. It was red eyes. I noticed something else.
I'm scared.
I'm too. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas, damaging her face beyond repair. What the? I imagined it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of it left. The only feeling it inspired anymore was a deep chill. This damage was not accidental. It was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling.
Don't tell me Michel is Elle's child.
I don't know what's going on. I
They both have silver hair, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know, my first thought was like a lover, but white hair, I don't know. Don't listen to me.
We'll find out.
Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me, and this music is freaking me out.
I know.
Why would anyone? She was surely a most beautiful woman. Angelic, even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up?
You gotta get out of here, girl.
She's so dead. Why had the painting been covered up? What had happened? Who could have? There's only one person who could have done this. Michel. Why on earth?
Oh, yeah, she's dead. She's gone. Oh, Giselle, you done goofed, girlfriend. You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? You entered my room without permission, and you saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that wretched woman.
I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble.
Oh. He has a knife.
Yeah, he does.
Oh.
Yeah, he does.
His eyes are red, though.
I
I'm scared, okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to look at that more?
No, I made her sound effect.
Oh!
Move on.
Get out of here. His eyes are reflecting on her eyes. That's kind of creepy.
Wow.
That's kind of creepy, right?
He's supernatural.
Yeah, ooh. He became demon. Why did you enter my chambers?
Miss...
What were you looking for?
You...
Answer me!
My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make my voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The wisps of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. Terrified. Terrified, terrified, terrified.
The music picked up right at the perfect moment.
Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feelings, of the knife he was holding up to me. Of the terrible past I was chained to. The man's voice, the man's very flesh, terrified me.
What were you trying to find? And what were you planning to do with it? Answer me! Another thing you refused to tell me then?
No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright. And I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe.
That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea.
An idea? What do you mean?
Money is what brought you here to the Bollinger estate. And it's what brought you to me, too. There are countless people who would love to see that house fall. And a noble family fears nothing more than disrepute. You were, I presume, approached by someone scheming the Bollingers' downfall.
No.
And as it just so happens, the Bollingers have a very unfortunate secret. One they are quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Someone suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bong
family?
The cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family. Michel, who made a pact with the devil. Who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into the house, and into information about me and my present situation. And you meant to trade that information for money. I bet whoever it was put quite a handsome price on it, too. Or maybe the one plotting to ruin the Bollinger family was you.
No, that's not true.
Then enlighten me.
Please, hear me out. I don't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way.
Then tell me, if that's not the reason you wormed your way into this Bollinger estate, and that's not what you're doing here, then tell me what is.
I...
Tell me why you came to the mansion!
You want me to tell you about that? No way. That's asking way too much.
Tell me!
I swear, I haven't done anything wrong to you. I simply wanted to make our life together a little more comfortable. To bring some warmth to the frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you.
I must assume I'm right then, Giselle.
I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean him no harm. But I can't say anything.
A merchant's daughter became an Abigail at a noble house? Could you come up with a more obvious lie?
Your father's the one who... How does he know that I'm from a merchant family?
You look perplexed. I may be imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please. But I have my ways. I know everything.
Everything? Then he knows about that too.
Oh yes, I do know.
Excuse me? Please.
Can you tell us, enlighten us?
Don't.
In your quest for money...
Don't say it. Oh!
I told you a relationship, something happened,
But not like this!
I didn't expect the father. But it's the father. Okay. You slept with my father.
In that moment, Michel plunged his knife into my heart.
Oh!
He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panicked frenzy, and probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside, and ran, and ran, and ran. I could hear a clap of thunder in the distance. Oh, how I wished a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burned my tainted flesh with a divine thunderbolt, it would get rid of some of the filth. But the jagged streaks of light cascaded across the dark clouds did not strike me, only creating restless grumbles in the sky. That if I fled that mansion, I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and sister. But I was helpless to stop myself. All I could do was run from all that threatened me with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reach the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries. Because I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak, each cold winter droplet stung bitterly against my flesh. But the bite of the rain was like a warm embrace compared to what I had been through before. Michel had spoken the truth. As much as I wanted to deny it, to avert my eyes, reality was forever engraved in this body. No, I don't want to think about it! But I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head! I don't think it was consensual.
No, I don't think so.
Dude, my heart hurts.
It's sassy. Yeah, that was... Excuse me?
That was not...
I said it, but I was hoping it was too overly used that they wouldn't use it. Clearly we went here. And I do not know how I feel about it.
I don't like it. I want to hold her. I want to give her a chocolate and a hug. And I will bake her cookies.
That sounds good.
And she'll never have to do this again.
For some of the cinnamon rolls we made?
Oh, yeah. Dude, guys, Melody makes the best cinnamon rolls ever you will ever have in your life.
Wait, don't tell them that. That's
why not?
Now they'll want them.
Well, then they need to subscribe to get some.
You guys need to subscribe, and then so we'll make it so big that we could go to like one of those fest thingies. I don't know, those YouTube cons.
No, we're not doing that. I only hear bad stories, and I don't want to get sick, and I don't do well with larger groups of people personally. We'll mail it to them.
We'll figure out a way, guys. Don't worry.